700 WLW podcast. This is Eddie and Tracy on demand on 700 WLW.
All right, back with Eddie and Tracy. Short work day today, Chief. We got, you know how that breaks our hearts.
How were those games?
Yesterday?
Oh my goodness!
You know what? We got a guest coming up here, but I wanted to break it down a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it tomorrow because there's so much to talk about. Did you feel bad for me at all? Do you know what I'm talking about?
We'll get if you don't want to talk about, because we have this guest. We're on really on a short leash today. Xavier DePaul coming up in less than an hour. Pre-game comes up in about 25 minutes.
But you didn't think about me during the playoffs? I mean, I lived in all three of the four cities.
But you were never in the playoffs.
It doesn't matter. I played for the Giants. I played for the Mariners. I played for the Denver Zephyrs. And, of course, the Red Sox really wanted me in 1987. I bonded with a lot of these people. I have a sense of loyalty.
Paul Tuckett or someplace up there.
I never played in Paul Tuckett. No. But really great games.
We really don't have and we do have Lap coming on tomorrow.
Yes,
maybe we can get some of the other guys to come in and chat with us about it. But now we're going to talk 2014. We only have a short period of time with our guest. Gerald, how are you?
Good. How are you?
We're doing great. Gerald Celente, we're talking trends for 2014. You are basically the chief and editor-in-chief of TrendsJournal, correct, sir?
That's correct.
So, you know what? Off the top of your head, Gerald, first thing top of mind for the new year, what are we looking towards?
Well, let's look at the economy.
I was going to say, economy top of mind, baby.
That's what everybody's interested in. Where's the money going to come from and where's it going? And here's what we're forecasting. We saw in December the Fed announcing they were going to taper. And that meant, of course, they were going to cut back on their $85 billion a month of bond buying and treasuries. That's unprecedented, by the way, in the history of America, where the Federal Reserve, of course, that's only 100 years old, has dumped this kind of dough into a system to pump it up. So what happened? Well, immediately you start seeing interest rates go up. And this has been an interest rate recovery. It's pure and simple. And it's not only the United States, it's global. The same thing going on in China. They've been flooding dough into the system the same way we have. They just call it something different. And the same thing in the European Union. So now they're worried about, hey, we're dumping all this money in. How are we going to start pulling back on it? And by the way, just to put it into perspective, when the Panic of '08 began, the Federal Reserve was holding about $820 billion in debt. Now they're sitting on over $4 trillion. So this thing is really, it's out of hand. So now we're seeing interest rates go up. This has been an interest rate recovery, period, paragraph. You guys are nice guys. Tell you what I'm going to do. You could buy an automobile. You need a new one, put 0 down, 0% interest. How's that? I mean, who can make this stuff up? You got interest rates at all-time lows. And by the way, it's hurting. In the old days when I was a young man, they used to have this quaint little thing called savings accounts.
Oh, nobody has those anymore.
You can't because you got a CD or your savings. You put it in the bank, and you're lucky to get 0.14%.
You know what? And Gerald, when you brought that up, I was thinking, I have no idea what a savings account pays these days.
Yeah. It's 0.0.
It's 0.0 something.
You're not keeping up with the rate of inflation.
That's crazy.
Right. So what this has done, it's inflated the markets. Not only here. Oh, Japan. I forgot Japan. They did the same game. They jumped trillions of yen into the system. The stock markets get boosted, but that's the only place the money's going. And again, I'm not making this stuff up and say, well, I'm a political atheist, by the way, so I only look at things for what they are. And, I have no skin in the game here. I'm not trying to get elected for anything.
But Joe, you make a really good. You know what? You make a good point. I mean, how many trillions are we in debt? 17 trillion. But you're predicting inflation coming up because we really haven't seen that much inflation, interest rates. So you got to be pretty positive on gold. Yes.
Yes, because here's what we're going to see. They're going to taper again. And you're going to see the markets go into – it's already happening. In Europe, the interest rates are going up. And the same thing in China. When the interest rates go up, this economy stops. The only thing that's got the housing market, the auto market, back on its feet are low interest rates. So what we believe, they're going to try another round of tapering. It's not going to work. And then you're going to see they're going to come up with a new scheme. We got a new Fed chairman. They'll call it something different, and they'll put more quantitative easing in there. That's when you're going to see gold prices and silver prices, is our forecast, when they're going to start going. They'll go higher than they went in 2011.
But Gerald, aren't you surprised that gold hasn't really spiked already? What's it at, 1250, something like that? I mean, it's amazing that has been kept down.
Well, no, not really, because, and again, I'm not making this up. Mm-hmm. The game is rigged. Here, let's rig the LIBOR rate. That's the interest rate, to the tune of $700 trillion since they've been rigging it. I'm not making it up. It's a fact. They rigged the LIBOR rate. I got another one for you. Yeah. Let's rig the currency market, the Forex. I'm not making it up. Oh, we misled. And the guys, you haven't seen one head roll anywhere. The whole game is rigged. Algorithms, that's all the stock market's trading on. You see the insider trading cases with sack of what? Can't say it. It's radio. So you can't. The whole thing is rigged. It is not in the central bank's interest for gold prices to go up because they can't keep the Ponzi scheme going. But just to put this into perspective, in Asia, in India, they're buying up gold in record numbers. Even in the United States, physical demand for coins of gold and silver is at all-time highs with the mint. So the rigged markets are the paper markets. The real markets are the ones that are people buying physical possession.
Gerald, let's talk a little bit about home ownership. Going back 1973, 23% of household heads under 25 own their own home. I mean, that rate just keeps dropping. Now, I'm seeing a trend for people to actually rent rather than own. Am I off base on this?
You're right on. Matter of fact, the private equity groups, again, that's something that never existed when I was a young guy who made this one up. They bought $20 billion. $20 billion worth of the housing inventory just last year, and they're renting them.
Is that a cash only? Those are those buyers that go in and pay all cash.
These are like Blackstone.
Yeah, Blackstone.
The big private equity groups.
Yeah, Blackstone actually bought 1.3 from GE, their apartment complex. So I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah, so those are the ones that are buying it all up. And then again, you look at the numbers. I'm only interested in the numbers. The numbers are this: we saw the latest employment numbers. 74,000 jobs were created. Out of those 74,000, 40,000 were part-time. Median household income in the United States over the last 10 years has declined 10.7%. So these are real numbers. And then you look at the kids, the young people. They used to make up, I think, over 40% of the new home buyers. Mm-hmm. They got lousy jobs. What are they going to start teaching in college? Stocking shelves? Folding clothes for Macy's?
Right.
I mean, what are they getting? You're looking at 50% of the kids that are getting out of college don't have jobs, and 50% of them that do have jobs that require only a high school education.
Gerald, can I ask you to hang on for a couple of minutes here? We'll come back to you. We're talking to Gerald Celente up to pregame for Xavier and DePaul coming up at the bottom of the hour. But now it's Ed, Tracy, News 700 WLW. Okay, back with Eddie and Tracy and our guest, Gerald Celente from TrendsJournal. And, Gerald, I don't want to get too wonky here, but just briefly, before the break, you were talking about gold and as opposed to paper currency and stuff. Can you, in a nutshell, explain what the hell Bitcoin is?
Yeah, well, matter of fact, we did a big story in the current TrendsJournal on Bitcoin.
That, exactly.
And it's to us, it's not something that we would get into. We don't give financial advice. I'll be talking about gold, right? Mm-hmm. And fiat currencies. Bitcoin, this is a made-up thing. It could go anywhere,
right? And
nobody knows what the countries are going to do to stop it from happening, as they're doing in China. So you got these really, really wild swings. It'll be up over $1,000. Next day down to 600. So for us, and then you're going to start seeing new entrants going into the market. For us, it's not something that we would put our money into. And I want to mention this as well. When I say that the game is rigged and the quantitative easing has only helped the financial system, I'd like to read you a quote from Andrew Husser. And this guy was a Federal Reserve official. Mm-hmm. And here's his quote, and this isn't coming out of the World Progressive Association. Yeah. This is from the Wall Street Journal. I'm sorry, America. As a former Federal Reserve official, I was responsible for executing the centerpiece program of the Fed's first plunge into the bond-buying experiment known as quantitative easing. The central bank continues to spin QE as a tool for helping Main Street, but I've come to recognize the program for what it really is. The greatest backdoor Wall Street bailout of all time. November 11th, 2013.
Oh, Gerald, you know what? You are so negative. Everything is bad.
Negative.
And you know what? I love you.
It what it is,
you know what? I'm right there with you. You know, you talk about this kind of stuff, and everybody just kind of, passes it off. I mean, do you see anything that could maybe dig us out of these?
Yes. Yeah,
what can we do? Move to Puerto Rico?
And by the way, here's I'm an American. I'm of course Italiano, but hey, this is my country. I love America, and I believe that the principles upon which this country is founded upon, and it's so far away from that. Oh. And beginning with, how about this one? George Washington, no foreign entanglements. Could you imagine Obama, Bush, Clinton, any of these people going up to Washington after his farewell address and saying, I think you're full of crap. I say we should get involved in foreign entanglements.
Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go back to what this country was founded upon. Let's go back to the principles, and we'll be fine. Let's put the laws back in place. The people like Teddy Roosevelt and people that fought new things and saw what was going on, protected us from the multinational takeover. And there were laws in place: the Robinson-Patman Act, Sherman Antitrust Act, Clayton Antitrust Act. And then the Glass-Steagall Act. Oh, and again, it's a gang. Look at it, and I can mention the names. Henry Paulson, the guy that looked like Frankenstein on the bush.
Goldman Sachs, buddy.
Remember, he came up with the line, too big to fail.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Junior, let me get this straight. This is America. It's capitalism. There is no such thing. And then we got the other flunky in the White House. What is it, Eric Holder? What's he holding on to? Yeah. The Attorney General that said these companies are too big to jail. We cannot risk the economy of the United States going into some kind of if we prosecute these people. Who made this up? Yeah. I'm an American. So then I go back again. How could it change? Here, try this one on. Okay. Remember pre-NAFTA?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we had manufacturing. Right. I vote for a self-sufficiency economy. We used to make our own clothes.
Well, let me ask you. Sorry for interrupting, but what do you see any business trends? I mean, I think you're kind of easing into it. I mean, especially with maybe in healthcare with Obamacare coming up. I mean.
Well, Obamacare. I mean, that's one of the great. Again, everything they do, they turn to failure. Hey, how about starting a war on drugs? Hey, education and problem. I got it. I'm going to anoint an energy czar. Here are the trends. The trends for healthcare are people better get in shape physically, emotionally, and spiritually, because if they don't, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. We have an aging baby boom population. And longevity centers are going to be a big business. They don't exist yet, and anybody tapping into it's going to find a gold mine. You look at the whole natural. By the way, I have an honorary doctorate from the National University of Health Sciences out of Chicago for complementary medicine. I've been doing this for years. This is the future. The future is in local. When I say about a self-sufficiency economy, it's taking local to another level. We don't have to buy junk from China. We can make it here. The only reason we're not is because, as I said, it's a multinational takeover. And here's the proof. I remember when I was a young guy, they had these little quaint things. They were called pharmacies, and the local people owned one. Right. No more. CVS, Walmart, Walgreens. It's like going into one of these places, not owned. What a hellhole. Then they used to have these other things. Stationary stores. Yeah. No more. We got Staples and we got
Office Depot.
Office Depot, yeah.
And then they had hardware stores. No more. We have Home Depot.
Yeah,
so when I'm saying, yes, the only way America could change is when the people take it out of the hands of the mafia. And the mafia, they could call them the Bloods of the Crips, but the white shoe boys like to call them the Republicans and the Democrats. We got a gang of 535 that has destroyed this country.
Yeah. Joe, let me ask you, we talk about the economy. We kind of focused in on the economy. I don't know if you know anything as far as trends in entertainment. Justin Bieber, I think he's got a lot of talent. You think he's going to be able to turn around 2014?
You know, the whole entertainment trends this is one of the biggest ones waiting to happen.
I've got all his records, Ed.
But
I know that.
Yeah, but
That's the reason I won't ride in your car
but the
with
entertainment industry doesn't have a clue on how to tap into it. And it's just like everything that they do, Miley Cyrus, the whole thing.
All of them.
Well, and all one of the things in the latest Trends Journal is you're talking about social media, which has always been with us from cave drawings on. But man, that just changes so rapidly, Gerald.
Again, one of the ones we're looking for to see happening is social media for the elderly. This is a real untapped market. And again, people are becoming less mobile. They're staying home more. A lot of people are out of work. That's the other thing, by the way, with the unemployment numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, who could make this up? 347,000 people dropped out of the workforce, and they no longer call them unemployed? I mean, what do we live in?
Doesn't make sense.
Is this the USA or the USSA? Who made this up? So you're going to have a lot more people being more dependent, and particularly the elderly, on social media. And it's going to be it'll be the new Facebook.
Gerald, we appreciate you talking to us. Trends Journal, people want to find out more. How can they do it?
TrendsJournal.com, TrendsJournal.com.
Easy enough. Gerald Celente, we appreciate you talking to us, man.
Thank you, Gerald.
Thanks a lot.
Good stuff.
That is,
Well, that's pretty pessimistic. Do you think we could do our show from maybe, let's say, Costa Rica?
How about
I hear Costa Rica's. I hear a lot of people are moving to Costa Rica.
How about the Cayman? Well, Cayman's too expensive. Costa Rica cheap. We gotta
look real good.
We got to go off the grid, baby.
Yeah, we do.
But you stay on the grid because we got basketball coming up. X and DePaul from Chicago next. 700 WLW.